everyone. Welcome to On the Boundary, just two coaches chatting cricket. Uh, Coachy, how are you? We're back again for another episode. How's it going?
Good to be back, Koichi. Uh, all is well on my side, and not too much to complain about on you.
All good, Coachy, and we are still champions. Apparently, it's been 4 weeks now. I mean, I even lost count. And
This,
the last time we were here, we were singing "We Are the Champions." How does it feel to be a World Test champion?
it sunk in now, and uh, it feels very good. Looking at the Test cricket going around, uh, being played by all these other teams that aren't champions, you can see why we are the champions.
That was very cheeky. That was very cheeky. But yeah, now that you mentioned that, actually, I've enjoyed the amount of Test cricket that we've had. I don't remember the last time we had this much Test cricket. I've really enjoyed it. I don't know about you, Kochi. I've enjoyed watching the West Indies mess up. Oh my God, I've never seen one team mess up the way the West Indians have been messing up. Their bowlers come in, they bowl their skins out, they put Australia on the back foot, the batters come in, and oh my God. I don't want to talk about their fielding. I've also enjoyed watching India and England as well. It's been an interesting series. You can see it's getting tighter because now even the chirping has come in. People are telling others to grow. Things I will not mention. How have you been finding Test cricket lately? Have you been enjoying the two games, or which game have you been following closely? Which series, I mean, have you been following closely? And what are your general thoughts on just around the series?
Yeah, as I said before, it's been fun to be an outsider and watch these other guys battle it out against each other. Uh, as you said, the West Indies one, uh, the fielding has been a bit, don't want to use the word, but terrible. Uh, then the India and England series, which I feel I've watched a little closer, followed that one a little closer. First few games, we thought it would just be batters versus batters without bowlers because Bumrah not playing every test match, and then the fact that he seemed to be the only bowler in the first test match for India, things like that. But as the series has gone on, Siraj has come into the act, helping him out. The other bowlers, Akish Deep, also. So that one's very fun, and the brand of cricket that England like to play also just always makes it fun, especially if you are a neutral and not really
Yeah.
supporting one of the teams.
You know what I found interesting about the India England series is the fact that Bumrah missed out of the second test. He was, I don't know, I don't want to say dropped. You know, in our field, the term dropped. For some reason, people think it sounds bad or it means something bad. So Bumrah was rested for the second test, and that's the only test the Indians managed to win. And suddenly statistics about how the team loses when Bumrah is there are being thrown all over the place on social media. And the most interesting part is the fact that it's English media that was spreading all of that. I'm not saying the stats were wrong. I'm not saying the stats are false or incorrect. I don't know. I haven't gone through the stats to check for myself. But for me, I found it ironic that it's actually the English media that is pushing this agenda that the team doesn't need Bumrah. And for me, I just thought, well, even me, if I don't want to face a bowler and I get a stat like that, I would spread the stat to try and make sure that he doesn't play the next test because we all knew he was going to play he all knew he was going to play the third test. So what are your thoughts just in general about the fact that we are being told that India is better off without Bumrah because they win when Bumrah is not playing.
It's a funny thing to say because he is widely regarded as the best bowler in the world after KG. So for anyone to say the team is better off without Bumrah, that would be a little not smart. Let's just keep it respectful. If if you wanna if you wanna say a team is weakened by playing Bumrah, yes, I know that's not what they were saying, but that's the picture they might have tried to paint. But any team in the world gets improved by Bumrah. So having Bumrah around, even if he's not going to take the wickets, he will always improve a team. So those are the kind of things as cricket fans you just need to sweep under the carpet and carry on watching the beautiful game.
Yeah, no, spot on. I agree with you. It's one thing I said, I tweeted is X, now that it's called X. I mentioned the fact that, you know, how they say stats don't tell everything. I think for me, I believe stats do some to some extent tell everything, but they also have the ability to tell whatever you want to tell. Like I can go now, take any player, I can go through their stats, break them down, and then come up with my story that is supported by any of the stats that I'm finding in front of me. But yeah, moving on from just general cricket, I wish we could have this much test cricket every year. No T20 tournament. There's a T20 tournament going on in one of those countries, and literally nobody cares about it. I haven't been seeing videos on Twitter, X. I have not been seeing videos on Facebook. Like, I'm seeing more test cricket than that T20 tournament that's going on in the USA, and I'm really enjoying it. I wish this is the life that we've always dreamt of. Now, talking about test cricket, the test champions picked a squad, an exciting squad to go play against Zimbabwe. Um, I remember on the last show that we had when we spoke about the squad, we spoke about a surprise selection. Not We didn't say it was a bad selection, but we said it was a surprise selection in that we didn't expect the selection to happen now. Our surprise selection went on. First test, we in trouble. We collapse. You know, the typical SA collapse. Um, Too many wickets down for nothing. This brother comes in, scores a 150 plus, and he saves the team. Your thoughts on Luandre Pretorius in the first test, or even in the whole series, even your thoughts on how he handled himself and how he played Test cricket on debut.
Can All I want is, can he just keep debuting every again and again and again and again? Because the Titans fans have seen his debuts in the Red Ball here, seen
Yeah,
his debut at SA, was it SA 20? He just likes popping onto the scene and showing everybody who he is. So we wish he could just keep debuting every week.
yeah,
Um, the boy is talent, and we've been speaking about him since his time with Steve Stoke at the Under 19 World Cup, where the explosive Steve Stokes seemed to steal the spotlight away from him. But we kept saying that this other opener, this other guy is mature beyond his age. That doesn't mean he plays old fashioned cricket or anything like that. He's still fancy, he's still flashy, he still plays modern day cricket, he still scores at a runner ball because even that 150 was literally at a runner ball. And
yeah,
the most beautiful thing about him is he hurts you silently. So he can score at a runner ball, but it doesn't feel like he's gone ultra aggressive. He just knows his shots, he knows how to get his boundaries, and he keeps getting his boundaries, which makes it easier for him to have those patches in between where he blocks out an over or plays out a bowler if he needs to. But the way he's been able to construct innings so early in his career just speaks wonders about his talent.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's another thing that stood out for me, but it has stood out for quite some time. And I think I even in the under-19 World Cup, that's one of the things you and I actually spoke about. The manner in which he carries himself, how he goes about his business. He's naturally aggressive. He's an aggressive batter, but he knows how to pace himself. He bats with a lot of maturity, especially for a guy his age. Most guys his age who are known to be aggressive, they tend to not know when to go hard and when not to go hard. And the one thing that stands out again is the fact that he doesn't hold back. I think the first ball he faced in Test cricket, he went down the wicket. Was it the first or the second ball? But I think it was one of those first few balls that he faced, and he came down the wicket to lofted. I think it was through over mid on or mid off, but it was an aggressive shot. It was a shot that most people wouldn't suggest that you play on debut as a 19-year-old in a test match, but he did it. And I'm sure a lot of people would have been worried after he played that shot. What is this boy doing? We're in trouble. But he played it beautifully and he paced himself. He played well. It was a beautiful innings, batted with so much maturity. And there was a bit of controversy around him in that match. Controversy that resulted in him being chirped by the Zim players, and social media was divided. Let's say the fans, SA fans and Zim fans, um, they were divided. Basically, there was a bit of an argument there between the fans. So I'm gonna ask you. I'm not even going to go deep into it. To walk or not to walk, coach? To walk.
For me, this one has always been to each their own. The only time someone didn't walk and I felt, let me say, affected by was what's his name, Stuart Broad edging it to first slip. But even they deflected off the keeper's hands. In hindsight, you could say it wasn't as big an edge as it was always made out to be. But I'm one who, when I play cricket, I try to walk,
You
but
try to
I do not.
wait. You try to walk. You don't walk. You try.
No, I don't want to call myself a walker, but 9 out of 10 times I will walk. The wind in Pretoria it's quite big sometimes. You don't even hear it yourself as a batsman, so sometimes I don't blame the batsman. But walk when you can. I think if the umpire doesn't give you out, some of us have been given out playing a pull shot, bottom edge onto your pads, and you've been given out LBW, and you have to walk it off. So if the umpire doesn't give you, you've got a bit of a right to stand there and try to bat on.
No, club cricket is the ghetto, boss. Especially when you've got player umpires. See, when you've got player umpires, I've got stories to tell for days. Player umpires are the worst. But for me, if I were to be asked the question to walk or not to walk, I basically, as a coach, I want my players to walk. As a coach, I want my players to walk. I remember I actually had one of the players that asked me, and I was like, uh, if we were in the game and one of you didn't walk, I would do the walking. I'd walk away and go home. For me, but as much as I would do that, I'm only doing that because it's happening in my team. But now, outside of my team, um, I would like people to walk, but I'm never going to get angry anymore just because someone didn't walk. And I'm saying anymore because I remember I was really, really mad at Kane Williamson. I think it was the 2015 or 2019 World Cup. Who Quinton didn't hear the edge. Imran Tahir was bowling. Kane Williamson, and everyone heard it. and he didn't walk. But I've learned to understand. I've learned to understand that it's actually okay for guys to not walk if they don't want to walk. We can't force them to walk, but ideally, I'd like guys to walk. Um, but also, I understand why Luandra didn't walk. I understand the situation. You are walking in with the team in trouble as a 19-year-old getting an opportunity to make their debut. You are not a permanent player in the side. You're replacing a player that's been rested. So you want to make an impression. So why would you walk? Even me as a walker in that situation, I don't think I was gonna walk, coachy, because I walk and then what if I'm not playing the next test? Then it means I didn't get it. I didn't give myself a chance to try and show these people what I can do. So if the umpires are giving me, there's a saying in isiXhosa that uThixo akaphinga sandla. That sometimes God doesn't give using his hand or by hand. He gives in other ways. So maybe it was Luandra's day on that day, a gift from God. But yeah, talking about the youngsters, the other youngster that I want us to talk about is our very exciting Dieval Brevis. We know for years people have been calling for him to get picked. For years, people have been saying, "Hey, Duval Brevis is ready. He's ready." He played a beautiful innings as well. Scored a 50 plus. Second Test match. Played a what looked like a board shot to me. That shot looked like he was he was just over it. It was. I checked the time. Game started day. That day started at 10:40 a.m. He was playing that shot, and I'm like, what could be bothering you so much that you could play that shot at 10:40 a.m.? Because I'm thinking, as a 10 player, as a test player, at 10:40, you just be like, you there. It's the start of the day. You wanna impose yourself on the team. But that shot that Udieval Brevis played to me suggests that he was bored. I don't know if he was tired. Maybe he didn't sleep the previous night. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Brevis in Test cricket? Do you think he's ready? Personally, I think he's not ready.
Uh, I like. I'd like to say we are blessed to have so much talent at the moment in that middle order. So we do not need to rush him. I also
Yeah,
feel like he's getting very close. He's getting very close, as that the both innings showed actually. The one you talking about when he threw it away, and the 15 alongside Luandre, he's
yeah,
getting close. So we have time now because of the amount of talent we have in that middle order. We do not need to rush Diabald. I'd like him to try to play a little bit more white ball for the Proteas. Any
yeah,
T20 chances he gets, get him in there to be in the setup. Just know that he's not lost to the setup yet. But for the red ball, I want him to go again, play another full season. I know now because he's a big T20 superstar, he might get calls up to all these weird leagues. But I'd like him to go and have another go for the Titans. And another thing I really want him to do is bowl a bit more.
yeah,
He could be our cheat code. He really could be something that we really need. What Vian is starting to be. Uh, Give us two players in one. He's a gun fielder. He's great talent with the bat. If you could just add that leg spin, be a little consistent. We know he's not going to be an out and out bowler, but just add a little bit to that ball with his bowling as well, and he'll be back in that Proteas test lineup.
yeah. No, I share the same sentiments as you. I think red ball cricket wise, technically, um, I don't like saying people are ready technically, especially when they're playing the first season of international or first season of Test cricket. Because what I've learned over the years is you get found out. Even people we thought didn't have a technical flow, international bowlers have a way of finding that out and exposing it. But I think technically he looks good enough. Technically, he's good enough. Technically, he's solid. But I think mentally, That's where he's lacking a bit. Also, maybe he doesn't understand his own game well enough to sort of be able to push on. But he showed what he can do, and for me, I'm really happy about that. Um, Vian Mulder at 3. A lot of people are still fighting it. A lot of people are saying, no, he's still not a number 3. But what I picked up is, I actually wrote this on X. What I picked up is a lot of people that say Vian Mulder is not a number 3 are saying it based on how they feel. There's not much cricket reasoning behind it. And I'm not saying that this in an offensive way, because I asked, I get that you say he's not a number 3. I also believe that he probably isn't a number 3 yet, but I believe that he's got the facilities to become a number 3. But the only way he can improve what he have and what he has to become a good number 3 is by us betting him at 3. And then I ask, why do you think he's not a number 3? And the answers we get, he's just not a number 3. Um, he doesn't bat 3 for the Lions. It's just generic answers to that question as to why you think he's not a number 3. And my logic is, no one is born a number 3.
Yeah.
There's no one who at birth the doctor holds you like that, slaps you, and then says, "This is our number 3." You become a number 3 by batting at 3. And the fact that he's batting at 3 for the Proteas, I do believe he's going to start batting at 3 for the Lions as well. But now he plays 3 formats for the Proteas, so I don't think he's always going to be available. So might as well bat him at 3. With even Mako Janssen, we batted him at 7 even before he batted 7 in first class cricket. So I don't know what your take is on this whole debate around Uvian Mulder. I think I know, but I want you to say it. But personally, I'm saying keep Mulder at 3. He's showing good signs. I know the next couple of series are going to be a big test for him, and I know he's up to the task. So keep testing him. If he fails, it's fine. We go back to the drawing board. But so far, Ushukri has been on point with his decision making. So, Kochi, what are your thoughts on the whole debate and discussion around Uvuyani, as some of them call him, Uvuyani at number 3?
On that point that you said about people wanting him to bat lower down in the order, I think we're trying to get too many players into the Proteas setup too quickly. Because they're not talking about shifting someone else up into that number 3. They want to get people from outside the 11. So if Jan Mulder is playing well, you want him to go and fight for an all-rounder spot with Janssen, who's already doing very well. We've got Coburn, who's in and around that position as well. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get 3 guys who are performing for the Proteas to fight for one spot, while at the moment they can be fighting for 2 with an all-rounder spot at 7, 8, and then Jan Mulder batting at 3, being the extra all-rounder. We've always said Vian Mulder is a top order batsman, which is 1, 2, 4/5. So now the fact that there is no other gap in the top 5, we've always said we have to get him in the top 5, because that's where we feel he would fulfill his role and talent within the team. Because if you're batting him at 7 or 8, I'm not saying he does, but it feels like you're telling him he's a bowling all rounder, and bowling comes first. And we've always known Vian Mulder to be a batter who bowls very well. The closest clone we've had to someone like Jacques Hallis, who batsman first and foremost and can bowl very well. So once we go into this stereotype of all rounders bat at 7 and 8, we equating them all to bowling all rounders. Just because most of the world don't have someone as special as we have in Vian Mulder who really can bat. Australia has Cam Green, who they are trying to do something similar with. Because once you have that, a guy in the top order who's a genuine bowler, it's a real cheat code. It allows you to so much flexibility within your team. And some teams try to shoe it in. We've got someone who actually has the ability to do it. So we don't even need to try to tinker around with it. He's a top order batsman. The space in the top order is at 3 because Temba's got 4. And at the moment, David Bellingham's got 5. So that was the perfect spot for him to be trialed out. And it's working. Shukri strikes again. It's working, and we can't we can't go around now fighting it. It's working at the moment. Let's keep it working until it stops working.
Hey, I was lynched on X for saying, well, I posted a screenshot from a few years ago on Facebook when I said Uvian Mulder is the closest thing we have to a Jacques Callis. And there's one person that chowed me. One thing I don't understand about people when it comes to sport is how we view everything as a comparison. The fact that we are saying Mulder is the closest thing to a Callis, we are not saying he's as good as Callis. We are not comparing him to a Callis. We are just making a reference that what he has in terms of the facilities that he has, he could do the job that Jacques Callis used to do. We are not saying he's going to do it as well as a Jacques Callis. We are not saying he's going to be as good as him, but we are saying in terms of facilities. For example, I could easily say Dievold Brevis is the closest thing we have to AB de Villiers. I'm not saying he's as good as de Villiers, but I'm saying his batting, the facilities his batting could do what an AB de Villiers used to do. Not necessarily that he's going to be as good as him, but I'm also open to the fact that he could achieve way more than AB de Villiers. But for some reason, yay, when you make these references, it's like we're not allowed to compare. We're not allowed not to compare. We're not allowed to. I don't know how to put it. We're not allowed to speak about young players and older players in the same breath. I was told you can't have Vian Mulder and Jacques Callis's names in the same sentence, and I was like, but it's the nature of the beast, Coachy. It's the nature of the beast. This is how these debates go. This is how the sports discussions go. There's literally nothing we can do about it. I don't know if there's anything you want to add with regards to the test series, but also wait, before we move on, I think it would be unkind of us. It would be unkind of us to not talk about Corbyn. I know we don't necessarily rate him as what most people think he is, but I think he has earned that we at least clap hands for him and say, well, if he can do what he did in Zim against other countries, against slightly better opposition, maybe then I could even eat my own humble pie and say, well, I was wrong about Corbin Bush as a bowler. Batting, I've never questioned his batting, but as a bowler, I saw he wasn't going for runs. He was getting wickets, and I was excited. And I'm hoping to see it happen against your Australia and your England, seeing him bowl with control and good pace. What are your thoughts on Cobbs in relation to the
Again,
series?
again, we don't want comparison, but first man to hit 100 and get a fiver for South Africa since that Jean Carlos guy again. Again, we can't compare those two. They are incomparable. I think when we speak about people alongside Jacques Callis, it's because he's the standard. He's for me, the greatest cricketer of all time.
Yeah.
Garfield Sobers might have come close. I wish I had watched a little bit more of him as well. So when you speak to anybody next to Jacques Callis, it's not because you say they are nearly the same or they are of the same standard. When it comes to Corbyn, A lot of people who follow domestic cricket were shocked at what he's doing for the Proteas. Not just the Zimbabwe series, even the debut test where he scored 80 odd. Uh, because we've watched Coburn, and we've always known Coburn has the talent. Coburn has the fight. Coburn is there to crit it out, get you that beautiful, not beautiful, gritty 40, get you run that in the bottom order, come in, fight for you the whole day in a test match with the ball, go home with his 2 for 40. But the performance he's putting out for the Proteas are better than anything he's done for the Titans. Maybe not in a one-off game. He might have had a good game for the Titans and before. We're not saying he just hasn't performed at all, but the performance he's putting out for the Proteas are shocking everybody. I'm sure they're shocking Coburn as well, but it's positive. It's positive, and we want this to carry on. We do not know how we're going to fit all these guys into 11 once everyone's around, but this is what we've always asked for. We do not want a Janssen breaking down and we are stuck with nobody. We do not want when the DD is not around, there's nobody. We do not want KG to be bowled to the ground because there's nobody else around to come and fill in for these guys. So now, having people like Coburn, even if he's not going to play every game, the fact that he's put his hand up and said, the selection for this position is going to be really tough for you, Shukri. And we love that. A lot of people, when we critique and we talk about players, think you hate players, especially when it comes to Protea fans. You either on you love a player or you hate a player. You can't just be critique. There's one player we've always critiqued in whiteboard games, especially white ball. He would bog down the game a lot more in test match, which was Rasif van der Dessen sometimes. That doesn't mean we hate him 1,000. His ODI stats are some of the best we've ever had in the country. He's a great player. But when there's something within a player that you feel like you need to critique, doesn't mean you hate that player at all.
Yeah.
So with Coburn, he had not shown us in domestic cricket that he is this good. So if this is his standard, I hope he keeps it and carries on for the Proteas.
Yusuf, how did you find Yusuf? Do you think he now becomes an option in the bowling department, or do you think let's wait a bit? Impressive bowling action, quicker than I expected. I think I have to eat my humble pie. Um, you did say he's probably one of the best bowlers in the country. I wasn't sold yet. I always had the impression that he was a bit slower, but I watched him closely, and he is a gun bowler, and I think as an addition to the long list of bowling options that we have, he's a good option. But I also know he can bat as well, because I know modern cricket fans. It's always about he can bat a bit, he can bat. But for me, I pick you for your bowling, boss. If you can't take wickets, I get someone else who can take wickets. Same as batters, I pick you for your batting. If you can't score runs, get me someone who can score runs. What are your thoughts on Yusuf?
As I said before, he's put in the hard yards in in domestic cricket, and I do feel he was the leading wicket taker in the series for us, I think. But I still feel like the noise won't be around him because of how flat those pitches were. They may not have allowed him to nibble it around as much as he would have wanted.
Yeah.
So he performed well, but I don't think that's we've seen the best of Cody Yusuf, and I hope he will keep getting a chance going into the future.
Away. I don't know if there's anything you want to add on the test series. I think for me, I was hoping Ulisejo would get more game time. I was hoping he would play both tests. sad for Utoni. I think it's a bit sad seeing how he's going at the moment. I think he's very low in confidence. He's a quality player, and personally, I've got no doubt that he's going to bounce back. Same as Matthew Brietzke. I think he's unlucky, but I've seen this happen to a lot of guys, where in your first few tests you don't bat in one position, especially the position that you're used to batting at. First test against Zim, he was thrown in the deep to open. Yes, he's opened before, but I don't think he was that effective opening the batting for the Warriors in 4-day cricket. And then he batted 4-5, and then recently he's been batting 3. And I think the worst possible thing that can happen to you as a batter is when you're still trying to fight your way into the team and then you bat out of position. But I will say that I was a bit disappointed by two guys, Kyle Verreynne and David Bedingham. I know a few people might not agree with me, but for me, if you're a batters, I feel like you needed 100 plus against Zim. I know he scored a few runs and then he even made an 80 in the second test, but I would have liked something big. Um, I would have liked something big from both of them as the guys who are in the main team, just to say we own these positions for now. No one's taking them, but I'm hoping that they saved big runs for the other opposition. But yeah, apart from that, I was happy with how we went about things in the Test series. Ukwena, I think it needs a few more 1-2 seasons of first class cricket. You can see the facilities are there. You can see the ceiling is very high. The pace is also there. But I think it just needs to bowl more in first class cricket with the red ball, and he will be a force to be reckoned with. And yeah, that's it from me in terms of the test series. I was happy with how we went about our business. I don't even want us to open that whole discussion around the declaration. I feel like we've exhausted that. But if you want us to talk about it, I've got no problem with that either. I've got no problem with that either.
I just want to maybe one line on that. For me, I'm one of those who I'd like to put the team first. So when he declared on that score, I think I was happy at lunch. The only thing I didn't care for was the comment at the end and on records are for legends and whatnot, because that I feel that was the only thing that left a weird taste in my mouth, because
Yeah,
I didn't mind the declaration. He had scored 367. We're not allowed to be angry at someone who just scored 367 not out. So so that was fine for me. Declare, get the team in, go and bowl the Zimbabwe out, win the test match. That's always been priority for me. But just that line at the end on records are for legends, I think that was a little weird.
yeah. Me, I'm gonna reserve my comments on that whole thing, Coach R. I feel like I've exhausted myself even just thinking about it, but I understand where you're coming from, and I tend to agree with you on the declaration side. But no, man, I think I think we can move on to to the tri series, the T20 tri series against New Zealand. That one team that I hate losing against. It starts tomorrow, so hopefully by the time the series starts, this video is gonna be out. Our production team is gonna try and make sure that by the time the game, because we're playing against Zimbabwe at Harare at 1 p.m. So crossing fingers for our production team to be able to release it on time. But yeah, T20 Tri Series squad. We've got 3 debutants. We've got Luandre. I thought he was going to debut in T20 cricket before Test cricket, but there's no issues there. We've got Corbin Bosch, who's also making his debut, possibly making his debut. We've got who else? Who's the other debutant again? Not me forget. Oh, we've got Ruben Herman.
Herman.
You know, I think it's very interesting. A lot of people, including myself, would have thought that Jordan Herman would have played for the Proteas before his brother. He was in the A side, and then suddenly Ruben is there. Um, Ruben was at Titans and then didn't get a contract. I think he went to Mpumalanga. Jordan got a contract instead. Then Jordan moved to the Warriors, and I think Ruben was still at thingy at Mpumalanga or the Limpopo, one of the two. Then he moved to Northwest. That is when things really changed for him. Started scoring runs on white ball cricket. In fact, across formats. Um, Jordan got an SA20 contract before Ruben. I think Jordan got it in the first season of the SA20. Ruben kept scoring runs. Jordan, then Ruben got a contract. I remember his father wearing a shirt that had both his son's teams. And now Ruben is about to make his debut. Um, yeah, I don't know. For me, I think he's not a bad selection. He can bat. I don't think he's that aggressive, to be honest. I don't think he's a typical modern day T20 player, in my opinion. I'm not saying he scores slowly, but I don't think he's another name that I forgot. Diego Brevis, has he played a T20? I think he has.
I think he has him. Yeah, I think he's been picked for a T20 match before. I'm not sure he got out to bat, but he's definitely been picked for a game.
But anyway, what are your thoughts on the whole squad? The T20 squad. I see we've got Orasi, we've got Riza. I think people who watch us know how I feel. I think personally, Rasi, Riza, we took 3 steps back and then we took 6 steps back. No offense on Uma Thousand, good player. No offense on Riza, good player. But I think it's time to move on from the two of them. I don't know. I would have preferred. I would have preferred someone else, 2 other players, but they've got contracts, I believe. So it makes it hard not to pick them. So I don't know. Maybe we need to get to a point where players are getting a contract as per format they play, but also they don't get paid a lot in SA. So it's going to affect the amount of money they make. So we might end up losing more players. But that's a topic for another day. What are your thoughts on the squad? Nandre Berger is back. Ulungi is back in the side. Kwena is there. Gerald Kutsia is back. We see Ngaba Peter is there. Luto Sipamla, I don't know what he did to get dropped. The last T20 he played, he was our best bowler, even though he also went for runs. Everyone went for runs, but he got wickets. I'm not going to go back to that whole saga about the coach then and but I think for me it's a bit of a sad one that he just misses out. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the squad in general, Coach R?
So my positives with the squad, Gerald coming back from injury, Nandre coming back from injury. Those are 2 big ones in the seam bowling attack. And another one, it's great to see George Linder. We've been fighting for him, I'd say. There's been a lot of people who did not understand what happened, me included, on why he did stop playing for the Proteas.
Yeah.
But great to see him back, top all rounder, a 7 all rounder, because we want all rounders to bat at 7. That one can bat at 6 and 7 and hit the ball far for us in a T20. Then we've got Luandre. And another thing that with Ruben, looking at the squad, I think Ruben keeps, which means Ruben is nearly guaranteed to get a game, especially with that small bruise that Luandre got in one of his hands batting. So they might just want to keep him off the gloves for as long as they can. especially if
He
there's
was
another keeper in the
he
squad.
was he was he was struck by someone from your alma mater.
He's my boy. He was struck by by Gibbs. So Gibbs did get his what was it, a fine or demerit, something like that, but he was reprimanded. Uh, it's good to have Ruben, another one from that place. You said a lot of people thought Jordan would play Proteas before Ruben, but when Ruben was still at Tuks, he was destroying the Premier League this side, and everybody felt he should be a professional. He should get close to the Proteas. It took long, and then a lot of people thought for him to get close to the Proteas because he wasn't anywhere near a Proteas selection for the past 3-4 years, and
Yeah.
just seemed to spring out of nowhere to a lot of people for him to come and get a call up now. But it's good to have him around. You said he's not attacking, but I feel neither is his brother Jordan. But everybody wants Jordan to play for the Proteas, especially white ball. But the
I
thing
don't agree
about
by the I would rather have Ruben than have Jordan in white ball cricket at the moment.
yeah, exactly, because Ruben is feisty, if that makes sense. More than he's not going to be your biggest hitter. He's not going to overpower bowling attacks, but he will score runs and he will score them quickly without ever being too attacking. So it's a good selection. Then it's another chance I feel for people like Brevis and Corbin to stake their claim into this team. Luandre
Yeah.
as well. We sometimes we speak about Luandre as if he's already a shoe in these teams when he's still just an exciting
That's how
19-year-old
good he
who
is. That's how good he is.
he's proven himself to be a superstar. So, but he's also got another chance to show the world who he is. Hopefully, he gets plays all the games. I with Rasi and Riza around. I feel like we needed them for the experience because everyone else in that batting lineup would have been youngsters. But I would love if there's no space, rest one of the old guys. Make sure that all these kids get as much game time as they can in this tri series. Get them comfortable in a Proteas jersey and see what stocks we have going forward.
Uh, Tevil Brevis plays. Ruben plays. George Linder plays. Who bets where? I'm assuming Rieza is gonna open the batting, so that's one. Russ is probably gonna come in three. Or Russ is definitely gonna play all games. He's captain.
As captain,
So the positions you have open is the one opener. You've got
Luandre.
four. Okay, let's say Luandra plays. He opens with Riza. Rasi coming in at three. You've got 4, 5, 6, and 7.
They nearly picked themselves the rest of that 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got Devil, you've got Ruben, and then you've got George Linda. That's 4, 5, and 6. Then you can have Andile hasn't shown the batting that we know he has yet, Milani. So whether he bats 8 and Gerald bats 7 will depend on the day. But then you can have Gerald, Mutasami, and Andile at 7, 8, 9.
So we benching Unaba Pita and going in with Senaran.
Benching, in South Africa, we don't like that. But yes, we're picking Mutasami ahead, and then we're picking two other seamers in either Nandre, Gwena, and Lungi for that last two spots.
I would open with Ruben, and I wouldn't play Riza, bruh.
But you
To be
made
honest,
me pick Riza in my team.
To be to be honest with you, I wouldn't play Riza, but I'm looking at the side that is picked. It's like we only have 6 batters in the side. So
Yeah,
open with Riza and Rubin. Rasi coming in at 3. Luandri coming in at 3, in fact. Rasi coming in at 4. I don't want that, but Rasi coming in at 4. Devil Brave is coming in at 6. And then George Linde coming in at 7. Did I say 5?
you did
Devil
it.
Brave is coming in at 5. George Linde coming in at 6. I would also back Gerald at 7. And then Andile at 6. At 8, I mean,
8.
I would play Ungaba and no, not Sen, because also I wouldn't play Ngaba. I'll get a few overs of leg spin from Devil, so it's fine. I will not play Ngaba. I'll play Usen as well, and then I'll play Lungi and Kwena for the first game. I hope that wasn't 12 players.
It might have been. The thing about why I like to have another spinner in the team, when especially when you have George Linda, is George Linda can bowl in the power play every now and then,
Yeah.
which takes sometimes 2 overs out of your last 14 overs. You don't have spin, which is why I wanted someone like Sin or Peter playing as the extra spinner.
Yeah.
But I hear your shout with Devalt getting a few overs, and I don't want to fight that. I just wanted to mention the fact that I enjoy having an extra spinner if one of your spinners can bowl within the power play.
Yeah, no, I'm saying Uprevis is gonna give me a few overs of leg spin, but I'm playing Umososami still.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm eating my birthday present here.
Yeah, we should have started off the show with candles and sprinklers. Happy birthday, good child.
No. Candles were yesterday. Candles were yesterday. But how do you think we're gonna do in the tri series? Because I saw New Zealand they picked their best squad. I saw even Conway was called up, and we know how South Africans treat us.
Yeah, yeah, Conway. I'm seeing another South African doing well for England in this test match against India, that Cas guy. But I don't mind results here. I'm just here for performance. It is T20s again. So I'm just here for performances. I'd like to win at least a game against New Zealand, perform against them as well. But honestly, for me, it's always been about performances, because it's not a tournament. Yes, it's a tri series. There might be a trophy on the line, but I'm here to get the kids playing. I want Andy to show people what he's got if he gets a game. Uh, Luandre to continue. Rivers to prove that he's ready for international cricket. Lungi to show that he's back to full fitness. Things like that. That's what I'm here for. The results will come if they come. I don't mind losing 1 or 2 games in this series.
Yeah, now spot on, coach. We've got a T20 World Cup coming soon. So in the tri series, we play tomorrow. We play tomorrow at 1, which is the 14th of July. And then we play 2 days later, the 16th of July, we play against New Zealand at 1. We're playing in the same venue throughout. So spinners are definitely going to come into play, even though they'll be using, I assume, they'll be using different strips. And then we play on the 20th, we play against Zimbabwe again. And then on the 22nd, we play against New Zealand. All the games are going to be at 1 p.m. And then on the 26th, I think that's going to be the final. Whoever finishes one in the group, there's one group. Number 1 and number 2 are going to play the final. And then number 3 is just going to watch the final, or they can go home if they want to go home. But yeah, I'm also looking forward to seeing how the youngsters do. I am looking forward to see how the whole team does in this tri series. I think the fact that it's a series where there's going to be some sort of knockout, it puts an edge on it, and the players will be tested a bit to see how they handle a bit of extra pressure. So for me, I'm excited to see how that goes. Yeah. Otherwise, it's been another great chat, Coachy. I see today we almost smashed an hour, which is not something that we always do. But looking forward to seeing how the team does. We're gonna have selectors soon. I don't know if they've been announced, so it's going to be interesting how the new selection panel aligns with what Ushukri has been doing and has been trying to do. But I know I'm hoping that they'll be traveling the same road, like they'll be heading in the same direction. Because as much as we've been critical of some of Oshukri's selections, I think it's been on point. So for me, I don't know if you've got any closing statement, Coachy.
Nah, nothing much. Just hope they aren't too high scoring and we get some balanced cricket. 160 to 180
Yes, please.
are
Yes,
good
please.
games for me. Uh, if we can get that and have some good cricket, Zimbabwe in white ball cricket hasn't been bad. We've got Sikandar Raza around, so
Yeah.
hopefully good contests, great cricket, and some good viewing for us all.
Um, Playing in Zim. Zim tends to be very flat, but I'm also hoping for a good competition between bat and ball. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the episode. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, share, watch even the old videos, and enjoy being a champion as we are test championship champions. We will be champions even tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Hey, we are going to be champions for the next 2 years until the cycle ends. And we must keep reminding them, go, hey, the Proteas are champions, Coachy. Otherwise, thanks for the great show, Coachy. We'll see you on our next episode.
Cheers.
Cheers.